Picture this. You are in your sanctuary. Maybe you're scrolling through memes. Maybe you're just staring at the ceiling, enjoying the beautiful sound of absolutely nothing. Your dopamine levels are stable. You are safe. And then it happens. The vibration, the ringtone. Suddenly, that sleek rectangle of glass in your pocket transforms into a screaming alarm system. Your heart rate spikes, your stomach drops. You stare at the screen like it's a ticking bomb that you don't know how to defuse. You watch the name flash on the screen and you freeze. You don't pick up. You just watch it ring until it dies, and then you stare at the missed call notification with a mixture of relief and guilt. Society looks at this reaction and rolls its eyes. They say it's just a phone call, don't be so dramatic. They call you antisocial. They call you a snowflake millennial or Gen Z who has forgotten the art of conversation. They label you as lazy, rude, or professionally incompetent. But what if I told you that that spike of panic isn't a character flaw? What if I told you that your hesitation isn't social anxiety, but a high-functioning brain protecting itself from a sensory error? You aren't broken. Your brain is just rejecting a communication method that is biologically unnatural. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain treats a phone call like a threat to your survival. Let's reframe the narrative. You don't hate talking. You hate being blindfolded. See, you aren't bad at phones. You are likely what neuroscientists call a high visual processor. Your brain is calibrated to read the room, literally. You rely on the tilt of a head, the twitch of an eyebrow, and the posture of the person you are talking to. When you remove those visual cues, you aren't just talking on the phone, you are attempting to fly a plane through dense fog with zero visibility and no instrument panel. The people who love phone calls, they are operating on a different frequency. But you feel exhausted because you are trying to navigate a complex social interaction with your primary navigation system, your vision, completely offline. You aren't lazy, you are experiencing sensory deprivation. Let's dig into the psychology of why this feels so draining. We can break it down into 3 specific psychological stressors. First, it's about environmental mastery and control. When you text or email, you are the editor-in-chief. You can type, delete, rephrase, and polish your thoughts until they perfectly match your intent. You have total control. A phone call, that's improv comedy. It's live, unscripted, and dangerous. Once the words leave your mouth, they are out there. For a perfectionist or a deep thinker, that lack of an undo button is terrifying. Second, we have the intrusion factor. A text message is polite. It waits at the door until you're ready to open it. A phone call is someone kicking down your front door and shouting, "Pay attention to me, now." It demands an immediate shift in cognitive focus, rupturing your flow state. Your brain hates being hijacked. Third is performative exhaustion. Because the other person can't see you, you can't use nonverbal shorthand. You can't just nod to show you're listening. You have to make noises. Yeah. Oh, really? Wow. You have to perform engagement vocally. This forces you to constantly self-monitor your tone to ensure you don't sound bored or angry. It's not a conversation. It's a radio play where you are the actor, the director, and the sound engineer all at once. No wonder you're tired. Now, let's get to the neuroscience. This is where we vindicate you with biology. The primary culprit here is a concept called cognitive load. The human brain has evolved over millions of years to prioritize pattern recognition. We are social animals designed to communicate face to face. We scan for micro-expressions, tiny movements in the face that reveal truth, deception, safety, or anger. When you are on a voice-only call, your brain is starved of this data. This creates a sensory gating deficit. But your brain is helpful, so it tries to fix it. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, goes into overdrive. It tries to simulate the missing visual data based on the tone of voice alone. It's trying to guess, are they smiling? Was that pause sarcasm or anger? Are they bored? Your brain is essentially trying to render a high-definition 3D video file using only a corrupted audio track. It is a massive waste of metabolic energy. You feel drained after a 10-minute call not because you are weak, but because your brain just ran a marathon trying to hallucinate the other person's face to ensure you were safe. You are suffering from bandwidth exhaustion. If we zoom out to our evolutionary history, this makes even more sense. For our ancestors, a disembodied voice, a sound that sounded human but had no visible body, was never a good thing. It meant a predator was mimicking you or an enemy was hiding in the bushes. Hearing a voice without seeing a face triggers a primal alert system in the amygdala. It whispers, unverified source, potential danger. That low-level anxiety you feel when the phone rings, that's your inner caveman looking for the tiger in the grass. Furthermore, let's look at your personal history. If you grew up in an environment where you had to be hyper-vigilant, perhaps walking on eggshells around volatile parents or strict teachers, you learned to survive by reading faces. You became an expert at spotting the frown before the yelling started. When you pick up the phone, you are stripped of that survival mechanism. You are defenseless. The silence on the other end of the line isn't just awkward. To your subconscious, it feels like a threat because you can't see if the other person is raising their hand to strike or opening their arms to hug. So here is the verdict. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need exposure therapy to force yourself to love 3-hour phone calls. You simply need to respect your hardware. Your brain is a high-performance machine that runs on visual data. When you force it to process audio-only streams, it overheats. That is not a glitch, it's a feature. The next time someone gives you grief for not picking up, or you feel that pang of guilt for letting it go to voicemail, remember this. You are preserving your cognitive resources. When possible, shift to video calls. Ironically, seeing the face reduces the cognitive load because your brain stops guessing. Or stick to text, where you maintain environmental mastery. You are not antisocial. You are just scientifically selective. So, I'm curious, are you teen text who could write a novel but panics at a ringtone? Or are you teen call who thinks typing is a waste of time? Let me know in the comments below. I promise I'll read them, but I definitely won't call you to discuss it. And if you want to understand why you procrastinate even when you have nothing to do, make sure you subscribe for the next video. Class dismissed.